Good morning, friends. My dad's in town. We're gonna go see a movie. Gonna go see Steve Jobs. And for breakfast, we thought we'd go to Whole Foods because we couldn't find anything that was really open this early. So Whole Foods has good food and healthy food, so that's better than Jack in the Box. I never thought of going here for breakfast before, but they've got wraps, they've got a tartlet, they've got French toast, they got eggs, they got agave and sweet potato. They have turkey sausage links, beans, chorizo, soy riso, scrambled eggs, bacon, and then biscuits and gravy. Quite the selection in here. What's up, everybody? I like this shot. Hands-free. So I want to give you a update on the movie that my dad and I saw, Steve Jobs. I really enjoyed the movie. I've seen the other movie, similarly called Jobs, that had Ashton Kutcher in it. It was a good film, but I thought this one was better. Well, they're both good, okay? The first one, more or less, even though it was about Steve Jobs, if I'm comparing the two, it seemed like it was more about Apple as a company and what it went through from its inception to Steve Jobs, being fired, to Steve Jobs being brought back, and then, to the launch of things like the iPod, what have you. So it seemed like it was more about Apple than it was Steve Jobs, where this one seems to be more about Steve Jobs. So we get a more or less of an in-depth look into him and to how he handled things, with his daughter, how he handled things with the company, being fired, coming back. What were the thoughts behind how he went and did all these different things? You saw a lot of things from the viewpoint of him and his assistant. I forget what her name is, but Kate Winslet plays the character and does a fantastic job, and shows that relationship, how he was backstage, how his relationship was with Steve Wozniak, all these different things. So you got to see more of what he was like as a person, and maybe the inner workings of his brain and why he was the person that he was. So if you're a fan of technology at all, look at it from the point of view as all the things that we kind of enjoy today, and I guess design and all that, there was a lot of influence from Steve Jobs and Apple. Not to say that other companies didn't do that, but maybe the other companies wouldn't have fast forwarded their thinking prior to him. Because if you thought of like PDAs and things like that prior to him coming along, they were very rudimentary. They didn't have a lot of style to them. And I agree with what a lot of Steve Jobs' mentality was people don't know what they want unless you show them. And that would be true for Apple products, especially after it came back. Like, for instance, the iPod. People wouldn't know that they would want 1,000 songs in their pocket unless you produced a device that gave them 1,000 songs in their pocket. Because prior to that, they had no idea or what that concept would be, because all they knew were the smallest real devices they had of any sort of music would be the cassette tape, which was about the size of this. In fact, many of you probably the size of your cell phone. One cassette tape having about, 12 songs on it. And then you'd have to carry several of them in a Walkman or something of that nature. So the idea of having the ability to have more than that and the same size device never even occurred to somebody unless you went in and thought of it yourself and then put it forth. So I think that's sometimes the disconnect with product design from even invention is people almost being okay with what they have. I'm all right with the cassette tape. Why would I need anything different? And then it takes people saying, well, but if there was a better way to do it, wouldn't that be easier? Like if you introduce something like the Hyperloop, which I'm a real big fan of, and I can't wait till it's in use, which will probably be a few years from now. And even self-driving cars. I take a lot of trips to LA. It would be nice to just have that on cruise control, let it worry about the acceleration and the braking and all that, and I can sit there and just kind of take it all in with the Hyperloop. The concept of being able to leave Las Vegas to be in LA or vice versa in a half hour is amazing to me. You have airports, but the problem with airports is you got to be there 2 hours ahead of time. Then you've got your flight. Then you got to wait for luggage. You got to do this whole thing where the way the Hyperloop concept is that it says you basically can get on almost every 10 to 20 minutes, get on a new train or Hyperloop going out there, and that's it. You got your luggage, maybe you have a lot more, then it goes in a special compartment of that particular vehicle, but it's not the same kind of concept as it is with planes. So anyway, that's just a side note, just technology. So people don't know that they want or need something unless you introduce the idea that this could be possible. So anyway, if that's your thing and you want to learn more about the inner workings of Steve Jobs' mind, I would recommend going to see the Steve Jobs movie. So there you go. There's my review for it. And thanks, as always, for checking out my videos. I'm probably about, I don't know, what am I, 14 days in of this daily vlog. So I'm getting a lot more used to doing these every day. And the plan is to just keep doing them every day. So hopefully you enjoy them, and maybe you're here. Maybe you've caught my 100th vlog in the future, and now you've come back to watch this one just for argument's sake, or whatever. You typed in to YouTube reviews of the Steve Jobs movie, and you landed here. I'm glad you came. Hopefully you liked the review I gave. Maybe it influences your decision whether to see it or not. But if you want to know more about me, always you can go into the description below. I've got links to Twitter, my website, all that kind of stuff there. Also, of course, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more about me and all the different adventures I go on. Just this past month, I was at Fright Dome. I was at Disneyland. I was at what else? Oh, not Scary Farm, and showed you the inner workings of all that and reactions and things like that. So I think tomorrow I might be going to another haunted house type thing. So I've said October is probably one of my favorite months because of all these different events that go on. So anyway, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. And subscribe and check out all the links in the description. Have a great day.